Okay, so I hope you can see my screen now with that lecture slide that we were discussing yesterday. So today we are about to start some fun part. Like again, today we'll discuss few things related to WPF. First of all, let me take a feedback. I just give you a quick self-reading task the other day, like yesterday. So I'm supposing that someone of you have tried that out. This one. So did you even try that this call span, row span type of attributes in our project that you were talking about? Yes, good afternoon, Manpreet. Good afternoon, Vinny. Yep. So yes, so I gave you this call span, row span type of thing. Anyone tried that out with the grid option, with the rows and columns? Did anyone try that out? Oh, looks like no one has done it. I don't know. Okay. So okay, so you have done that. Someone has done that. They're privately saying me. Okay, that's good. At least you have done something. Anyhow, let's have a quick review of the last class. And today we'll talk about some important, like we'll just try to create one application today that might include a lots of concepts, and then we'll build up upon that project. Like that project we will be just building up upon. So you remember we have talked about yesterday about WPF, Windows Presentation Foundation, and you should be convinced by now that yes, now we have been provided an environment where we can just uh, we can just work on a graphical UI, like the graphical user interface GUI, which is called shortly. So graphical user interface is there where I can just drag and drop things, and I can develop all of them. So if you remember, we talked about that a WPF application has these different kinds of things. There are windows.xaml, windows.xaml.cs. So two type of code is there. One of them is XAML code, which is we talked about that, which is very much related to XML or resembling to XML. But then on the other hand, we talked about that there are certain the CS file, which is the .cs code, which we talk about. We have seen that, and we saw that solution explorer is what. And we talked about this toolbox. Toolbox is another very important part, very important part, and we will be taking use of this toolbox today to create a little project. So today's class is mostly depending upon we'll just try to create whatever we have learned yesterday. I will just stop these slides on that point of time where, if you remember, we were talking about. So we stopped somewhere here, like grid usage. We just talked about that, and then I think we just stopped over there. Anyhow, so and we talked about the margins as well. So I have to discuss what are prime panels. We'll talk about these panels. There are very interesting layouts that we have, and I'll talk about dock panel, canvas panel. These are all very interesting. But today's class, I will be just keeping it a very different pace. And today, I would like all of you, of course, you people maybe do that, all of you to just run with me, and we will be collectively making a small application. And during that application, we will try to learn a lots of concepts that we have studied, right? So so whatever we have discussed till this point yesterday, like we talked about the margin, and then I gave you this self-study or something. I will just place it over here because this fits over here. So that row span, call span, if you have done that, that's excellent. If you have not, no problems. We can just start working on it. So what I want all of you today is just please follow me up, and you have to do this all with me, and we'll just start. First of all, I'm just starting my Visual Studio, and I am starting the project in front of you. Why? Because there were some people who were having problems after opening the project. They had problems. So now you see we are opening what WPF application, which you will find when you select Windows out of this platform. You will see that you will find this WPF project type of project at the bottom, maybe near bottom, or maybe in the middle of that. You see, so we are selecting WPF application. You just select. I am calling this application as, again, maybe a pizza app, right? Pizza app. We are creating a pizza application, simple pizza application. And as I said, whatever we have learned till now, we will try to implement that. And as I said, we have how many people here? We have, I think we have now 19 people here, including myself. So it means 18 students are there. So I would like all of you to work on this project, because by the end of the day, I will, when we'll complete that, because I will be discussing lots of important concepts during that. And then by the end of the day, I might, ask everyone of you to just show your screen to me when you are done, right? So today, everyone will be going with me for the most part, right? So we have just created a new we are just creating a new application, WPF application, Pizza app. I have named it. Do next, and just select this .NET Core 3.1. No problems. Okay. So I think Deep is just joining us. Deep, you have just joined us. Start a new application. We are making a little project, Pizza application project. I have called this project as Pizza app, if you see here, and rest everything is same. So I want all of you to run with me, like to follow me, and then at the end of the class, I might look at some of the projects randomly, right? So Pizza app we are starting, and just selecting this .NET Core 3.1. Let's move forward and make a new project. I'm happy that only one student has responded that they've tried that college spend and row spend type of thing. So that shows how much interest did you people take in yesterday's lecture. That's excellent. Even though this was, I think it was the most interesting, lecture of all time. Anyhow, so we have this Pizza app which is just starting. So to make it more interesting, I will just, I will ask you at few places, I will ask you to just, use those names or those things. So now everyone is ready with this application, first of all, because I want all of you to go step by step with me, and I will be just, as I said, towards the end, I will be just, checking everyone. Akriti, thank you very much. So those who are just joining us, please note that we are making a new project and we are just working on a project today. And hopefully we will just try to implement whatever we have learned into this concept. And please, everyone, unless something is really private that you want to send as direct message, don't send a direct message. Kashmir, looks like you have gone to the direct mode. It's not good. Like again, because that changes my chat into the direct chat. So I have to always just come in and select everyone. So unless there is something really private that you want to discuss, please don't send a private message, like, only me message. I hope that makes sense to him. Okay, so this is our window, which is, the height is 450 for this application and width is 800. And you remember, I will be side by side telling you, no problem, no problem. That's not a problem. So I will be side by side telling you people that what we'll be doing. Like again, I will be just telling you a few things where we can do. So this is a window that is coming up. So the window size is also coming up over here. If you see at the bottom, in this XAML part, there is a size of window. So for example, the height is 450. If I want to make it 500, I can change it over here. I can say this should be 500. Now the height of my project has increased. So that is what. Okay, yes, invalid code. You are right, because inverted commas has gone. So now, so you must have this, like I have just changed. So you can change this window's height and width from here. So no big deal. We have just changed the height of this one. No big deal. Okay, now we have the toolbox, and you all have this toolbox with you. What you have to do is that, first of all, bring out one label, maybe in the center of our application. So we are first of all creating the UI of our application. And after creation of UI, we will talk about its like background logic, behind logic, all those things later on. So again, I'm not using the grid out, I'm not telling you about those. So you can later on implement those panels and everything that I'll teach you in the successive sessions. So I have brought up a label. Remember, best practice. We are doing the project, right? Best practice. Whenever you have some control on the screen, always first of all name that. So I am calling it LBL heading. LBL, label heading. You see, I have renamed that one. So X column name is appearing over here. Always name your control first, because then you remember we can always access this from the code. If you remember about that, we can later on access this from our code. Right, everyone? So now what I've done, I've just renamed that. Now, if you come to its content part, now what I want from all of you is that in content, for example, you can use your maybe let's call it ABC pizza, right? So whatever you can call it whatever. ABC pizza, right? Or make it all capital. ABC pizza shop, right? ABC pizza we are talking about. Now, if you have just changed that, if you come to the text part, and you can first of all make it bigger, whatever size you want. Maybe I want to have this will be a main heading, so I want it to be maybe 48 or less than that. 24, it's a bit smaller. 36 is good. Now, what you can do is you can also change the font from this part. You go over here, and whatever font you like, you can always select that. For example, this is good. Let me just, or maybe select anyone else. Let's see whatever you like. Okay, just leave that one maybe. Okay. So now everyone should have a label ABC Pizza, and this label name is, if you see, label heading. It really does not that matter for with that one, but anyhow, it will be good if you can just have that name of the label. Right? So should I expect everyone is having this label? And again, I'll take a feedback after some time. Let's do a few things. Now let's try to maybe make few more things around that. For example, select a rectangle, and we can draw a rectangle just to show it a bit more. Right? So you can change the rectangle's appearance. If you see here that its opacity is over there, and then there is a the brush out there, the color. If you want the stroke color to be changed, you can say that, for example, select this red color for the stroke. For example, I want the red color for the stroke. Right? So you see that we have just created one label for ourselves. Now select rectangle again, for example, and come to this part of our screen and draw another rectangle shape over here of any size. Just you can make your own UI if you want, whatever, it's up to you. Now a shortcut, if you press some if you keep on pressing the Alt key and drag and drop that object, you will get copy of it. I hope you people know about that. Control Z, I'm doing that. So if I press press and hold Alt key, you see my cursor changes into double something. And if I drag and drop this shape over here, I'll get exactly the same size square over here as well. Right? So I'm expecting you people also to do that. So we have done nothing. We have just made two square shapes over here, and we have got these square shapes here. Right? That's good. Now what I want is that inside that, so please remember what we are doing. We are trying to create the UI of our application, and then we will create the background logic as well. Now I want you people to, for example, bring out the radio buttons, or maybe a radio button. Just bring out a radio button and put it somewhere here on the screen. And the same logic that I gave you. Press and hold Alt key, radio button 2. Press and hold Alt key, radio button 3. So I've created 3 radio buttons. Right? Now, first of all, remember the golden step. Always name your data. So I will name them, but let's see that here I want to display maybe the different types of pizza that we sell. Right? For example, we say that this one first pizza is anything. First of all, let me change the content and then we'll change the name. So I'm going upside down. Why? Because I want to just, so its contents are, radio button. What I want to do, for example, I say whatever. I don't exactly know that much about pizzas. So tandoori pizza, right? Whatever. And let's give it a value like, So what I've done, you can name anything to this one. So I've just named it tandoori pizza or whatever. So we are just defining something. So now if you want to change the font size, I would like to change the font size to make it a bit bigger, and so that it's a bit visible, right? So now please remember, we have not done the most important part. What was the most important part? What is the most important part, anyone? I'm still missing that most important part. With respect to the UI, naming, yes. So always name that. So you come over here and I can call it. So, it's a radio button. So usually what we do for radio button, we say RB. And for example, I say tandoori, right? So just for remembering the name. RB. So it's a radio button that has tandoori pizza in it, right? Now come to this one. Second one. And let's see what are the properties. 22 size. It's a 22 size. And let's do that as well. First of all, 22 size. All those things that we have done with that one, we'll just try to do that as well. Not only that, I would like to call that as well something. For example, you say cheese pizza and $11.99 something. I don't know. Right? And now you can just, place that with that one. Right. So this is the two. And the most important part, RB, like, naming that. So radio button and cheese. Right. So I've just called it radio button cheese. Now the third one, change the contents, whatever pizza name, maybe California, whatever, and $12.99, just to change that amount as well. Right, so now change the size as well. First of all, this is 22, and name it. And what should I name it? LBL California. I just named that. This is very important part. Again, I keep on saying that this is very, very important part. Or maybe if you feel that text size is a bit bigger, what we can do is we can select all of them, and we can come and say 18, a bit more smaller, maybe 20. Yeah, 20 would be good. Right. This one more very, very important step here. And as I said, I will be telling you the important things about that as well. What's that? I want always one of them to be selected. Radio button is something that always should have only one selection at one point of time. Radio button is something. How to do that? We can just, come to over here, select our radio button, and there is a property group name. You see group name over here, right? So you can call it something. So I say type of pizza. I've just called it type of pizza. You can call it whatever, but whatever you call it, you select that one and copy this. Why? I want to give the same name to this one. Remember, radio button is supposed to have one selection at one point of time. So I've given the same name to all of them. What is the benefit of that? You run that application and you know that if you have given the same name, this will become a group. And if it has become a group, what you can do is that you can always select one of them. All of them will not be selected. You see here, if I select this one and then select this one, maybe this one, so one of them will get selected. If I do not group them, they will all be I will be able to select all of them. Either name will get selected at a time. Okay, so yes, Abhinav, here whatever you will select will be that selected radio button. and we'll handle that in code that which one is selected, right? So if I select cheese pizza, my code will see that what is selected, right? So I'll handle that through the code. Okay. So far, so good. We have created our 3 types of pizzas that we have, right? So that we offer. Now let's do one more thing. For example, we want user to enter their name over here, for example. So just go to the label, bring a label over here, right? And you can call it LBL customer name, right? This is the label for the customer name. And I want customer to maybe say, enter your name, right? Change the font size, whatever is suitable for you. I'm making it 20. I've named this LBL customer name. Remember that. So this one label has come over here, LBL customer name. You have to remember this because again, we'll be using all these in our code. This all will be used in our code. And of course, when user is prompted for the name, what user will do, they will enter something. So take a text box and create a text box over here. Right? A text box over here. So again, the most important one, what should I call? TXT. TXT customer name. Remember these names again. Code will play a very, very important role. Like, if you remember that. Make its size as well the 20, maybe, because I want to see a big name of the user. So now we have got a customer's name entry or also over here. Whatever, just settle according to that, or maybe not looking good. Anyhow, you can make more better UI. And as I said, I will towards the end, I will see everyone's application type. Yeah. So now I don't want any content in this right now because you don't want anything inside that. So make it empty text box. Right. So now this is we'll take the user's name and then we'll display it over here as well. Now come to the right part of our screen. This will be our order part, right? So first of all, bring up one label, right? Bring up one label over here and call it LBL order. So I'm calling it LBL order. Font size is again taken to 22. And the content, I will say order. Right? And later on, I'll try to change this order with the user with the customer name. Maybe I don't know. You can do anything. So one label I've called this label as what? The LBL order. And that's always, we can always come back and check all those things. Right? Okay, bring one more label over here. And maybe this part, right? And call it LBL type of pizza. Or maybe you can say pizza description. Pizza description. So I will bring up whatever is selected into this one, right? So now change this font size 20 and I can call it description. I can give content description, and that we can change later on. Whatever we can just change then. So LBL description, pizza description. It's not the LBL description. It's LBL pizza description. Right. So now bring one more label over here for the price. Let's do that for the price. And for the first one, let me just say that what I want this to be label dollar. I'll just make it a dollar sign. For example, I want this content to be a dollar sign. Right. So let's make its font size bigger. Not only bigger, but I want it to be a very, very bolder one, for example, like that. right? And now bring one more label and draw it just beside that one, where we will just display the amount, whatever amount has been gathered, right? So now I'm calling it LBL amount. Just call it amount, right? So amount will come over here. I don't want anything inside that one right now. I want its font size to be 22, and I want it to be same like my. So just hold on a minute. What was selected? Arial black. So I would select this also to be the Arial black, so that the price also comes in a bold form, right? So price will also. So let me just put something. So but price will come over here. Okay, so now what we have done, we are just trying to create the complete UI of our application, and now we have just reached to a point where we have just almost about to complete our UI. So what we'll be doing, that user will be coming over here, entering their name, selecting the pizza type, whatever, and their name will appear over here, maybe in front of like in place of order, or in front of, if you want to place that in front of order, you can always do that as well. And the description will come, whatever pizza is selected, that pizza selection will come over here, and the price, whatever user has selected, will come over here as a price. You can always just readjust them, or you can just place them wherever you want. It's up to you. That is all your own, on your hand. Okay, so the last thing that I want to bring in our application is a button. So let's bring up a button over here, this one, between these two. Now let's change the font size, whatever, and let's call this button, or say something, process order. Process order, right? Let's make it a bit bold as well, just to show something. Right. So still we can do one or more two things with respect to our UI. So first of all, let's run that one and see what is happening. How is it looks like? Of course, it's a very colorless sort of thing, and I'll try to just bring up a few things and add something. So this is our application. So how many of you see the same like my environment? I would wait now for everyone to jump in. What should be the oh, that's excellent. That's excellent. I have not button named it, and we should name this button. So it can be anything, but again, that's a very good reminder. Always remember BTN, and you can call it order, right? BTN order. Vinny, you can write it BTN order. Thank you for reminding that, because I forgot to add that. So now I'll wait after putting up the output. So BTN order is the name of our button. Now, please tell me how many of you see something like this? Something like this means you would have maybe something here and there, but more or less, how many of you see same like this? Excellent. I'm seeing response from lots of people. Baldeep, Rashmi, G. Okay, sure. That's excellent. That's excellent. Thank you. But looks like there are more people than that. there are 20 people in class other than me. So I would, again, by the end of the day, towards the end, as I said, I will just like to see everyone's work over here. Okay. So far, so good. All right. So now what you want? Let's do one more thing. I want to add few pictures to it. Like again, it's looking very, very, very simple. And I do want to have some maybe background picture or something like that. So let me just let me just download few pictures for you. Like you can just download few. So you know we have got this Unsplash website. If you know about that, which allows us to use free pictures. So you can just bring about some pictures. One of the picture I'm bringing up is the large one. So there's a large picture that has come, and maybe I can bring two small pictures, two or three, to put on my application. For example, this one. So I can download it in a small size. So this one will be a smaller one, second one, and maybe one more. So just download any of them. So maybe this one is a good one. A smaller one will be good one for us. So anyhow, you can just select on your own whatever you want. So unsplash.com. I hope you people know about that. And this unsplash.com give you a very good feature of that. You can always use these images for the free, and you can, like, for the testing purpose, you can always have those pictures into your. So I am just downloading bringing up these pictures. Okay, so where I have to bring this picture, see here, this is very important. This is our pizza app. Right click on it and just go to add a new folder. Add a new folder and call it images. That will be good because our resources will be over there. Now, if I want to just print into, put into that one, what I can do that, for example, I will open my project in Windows, open folder in File Explorer. So here I have images folder. So do what? Now copy those three pictures over here in pictures folder. Everyone please do that. So what I've done, this images folder, I have just copied everything into this one. Right? So images folder should contain now 3 pictures you see over here. You would be able to see that. So done, everyone? Maybe 3 pictures. I've just taken 3 pictures over here. You also can have 3 pictures over here. So first of all, let's bring up one image. So this is an image. I bring that and I bring that over here. For example, for the time. Now, if you see that there is a source option over here on the right side in the properties window, go over there and I want to select the biggest one. Go into images, and which was the biggest one I've selected? This one. So I have selected that picture into it. So that picture is coming over here. So what I can do is that I can make it a big one. Almost covering my all window. Right? So I've just taken this picture and covered all the window behind, behind. So now the first thing that I want to do is that I want to make its opacity minimum so that it goes into the background and my rest of the things are available. You see, now it looks a bit, more more animated or more baby color. So if I run that application, you see, so I've brought up a picture, and that picture I've just placed in the background of my application. So you see, now a bit more, or maybe I would like it to be 30% something, because 20% might be a bit more, or a bit less than that. So maybe 30% so that it's a bit visible. Oh, it looks like good. So now it's at least showing some people. Right, so this is the first picture that I brought in. Now, what you can do is that you can just bring up one more image. And as I said, maybe with the name of your, so go to the source again, and maybe take this picture. Right. So I want this picture to be over here. And same ways, I'm just copying this one, and you can just download or maybe use any other picture you want. Now, our application has started to look a bit more spicy, right? with some pictures on it. Okay, Rashmi, I'll repeat that. No problems. That's excellent that you have mentioned that, and I want to just show you first. So you people see now it looks a bit more. It's not that beautiful, but look, it started to look something like which is more serious in nature. So Rashmi is asking, how did you do that? So Rashmi, what I did was, first of all, I brought a bigger picture. I downloaded the bigger picture over there, and after bringing that picture, I have just stretched that, or I have just uh, stretched that to the or complete application. And after stretching that application, this is the opacity option appearance. Rashmi, do you see that at the right side of my screen? This appearance has this opacity something, which whatever you set this, it will be like that. So if I do 70, you see it's more prominent, and my text is just disappearing before that. Anyhow, I don't want it to be like that. I want it to be maybe 30%, and I say that just go in the behind. And you can just go to the 10% at least as well. So this will be a very light background. And again, it's up to you that what you want. So again, you make a stretched picture on one screen, and then just you see here. So I have done that 10%. So it's looking far more. I think it's looking good. Like there is a background picture, but it's not that visible. It's a watermark picture. Got it, Rashmi? So you can just add those pictures over there. All right. So let me just run that again. Now I'll take again a feedback, because now I have added the pictures. So how many of you see a picture in the background? Like myself, I have just done 10%, but I would like you people to just, So are you people ready with this one? Because now we'll be starting to jump into the code. We'll try to write the code over here. How many of you are ready with this one? People are still, I think, trying to do that. No response till now. Yet to add. Okay, no problem. Just add that, Vinny. I'm just waiting, because I want you to be with me, because now the real part is starting, where we will start our coding, and that coding will be interesting. Okay, no problem, Abhinav. Yeah. I'm just waiting for a while. No problems. I'll just keep this over here, and let's maybe stop recording. Okay, so again, my understanding is that you people all have something like this with you, like an application UI, which we are ready to work on. So it's a very basic sort of UI, but again, we are learning a lots of things by doing this project. Now let's start working on its background code. So UI is almost done. We just want this much in the UI. There is nothing much more that we want to be in the UI. Now what I want is that whenever user comes, they enter their name and they select any of the pizza type. So my order should be processed, and when they press this press order button here, for example, the name of the customer appears, description, which pizza has been selected, and then the price should come over here in the LBL price, LBL amount. I've just named it LBL amount. And remember that this is very important to just remember that. Now to just work on that, I would like everyone to remember what we did yesterday. So if you go onto this button and double click on this button, not like that, like that. And like again, you have to go behind the code. So you remember we have talked about that. We have done that yesterday, that when you double click on a button, you come to this environment which shows you that you are inside the code of that button. So whatever you want to do, you remember, whatever you want to do, it will be displayed. So you remember, just for those, if someone was not here yesterday. So messagebox.show, if I do, I am working, right? So button is working if that message is shown to us, just to check and just to tell you that what we are about to do. So inside that button, we want to do what? We want to write our core logic. And this will be very interesting logic. As I said, you will enjoy this, working on this. And as I said, there will be all those object-oriented concepts that we have learned. they will come into play now. So if I click on that and if it's displaying a message box, it means I am successful. My application is working fine. So button has started to put an impact on our application. Now I want you to just follow me up like this one, and I'll just explain each and everything. So I'm just defining a string customer name equal to nothing, because I don't have a customer name to start with. But the customer name will come from where? It will come from, we'll see, this text box, right? So our customer name will come from this text box. Anyhow, so I have defined one variable like customer name, and I have one defined pizza name variable equal to. So now, how many pizzas we have? Options. We have 3 options: tandoori pizza, cheese, and California pizza, right? So let's make one of them as the default. If the user, like, again, one of them should be a default one. For example, let's select the first one as the default one. So what I do, I'm saying pizza name is equal to inverted commas, give a 1 space, and you say tandoori pizza, and write down the amount of that one. What is the amount that I've used for the first one? $10.90. So I'll say $10.99. So I've just defined one pizza name. Rather, no need to just give the price, because price will come from the amount. I'll make another variable for that. So pizza name is equal to tandoori pizza, right? So this is by default I'm giving. So if user does not select anything, tandoori pizza will be automatically selected. Now let's see, or maybe just call it total price. Total price equal to, and this tandoori pizza price what we have set up is $10.99. So I'm taking that same price over here, $10.99. So see here what we are doing. Customer name, which is empty, and customer name will come from that text box. Pizza name, I've just given a default pizza name. By default, this will be a name of the pizza, tandoori pizza, and the price of that tandoori pizza over here. Now the real fun part starts. I want to create a new class of pizza that will be capable of handling all the orders. Now, please remember and try to just keep that in mind. Our object-oriented concepts will start from this point. So first thing that we are doing is a class. You remember that we usually have a class to do something. Okay. So I don't have a class, but what I'm doing, you remember that how to create an object of a class. For example, I'm just imagining that I have a pizza class. So pizza, my pizza equal to new pizza. Got everyone? And just pass that pizza name, comma, total price to it. Now, interesting. I'm saying that I'm creating an object of the class pizza. But of course, this class does not exist. We know. So what to do? Go to this drop down, and it's asking, should I generate class? So generate class pizza in the new file. If you want me to just create a pizza in a new file, right? So I say, okay, or maybe if you say the generate class pizza, it will be just generated on that particular. But again, you can just do that first one, generate pizza class. Now, if you see the pizza class generated, do you see that pizza class has come over here? If I double click on it, you see namespace pizza app, internal class pizza. Something that has been done by compiler itself for us. Now, another thing, you see what it says. Pizza does not contain a constructor that takes 2 arguments. You remember that our class usually has a constructor, which is not there, of course. So why it is saying? Because we are calling it with these things, and it says that there is no constructor defined which takes 2 parameters. Okay, how to fix that? First of all, you know that how to fix that. Okay, generate constructor in pizza with fields or properties. You can do both of the things. I am doing with fields right now. Select that. Okay, now this error has gone. Let's see the pizza class now. Excellent. Do you see a constructor over here? Everyone can see that? I know most of you would be lost somewhere. Maybe. Let's see who has just reached. This is a constructor that is created. Abhinav, that's good. Excellent. How many of you see that constructor in the class? You can see the constructor as well. This dot pizza name, this dot total price. There are two string private fields have been created, and then we have got a constructor over here. Yes, I can see only two yeses from Jeel and Valdeep, and then it was Abhinav. Deep, thank you. Others may jump in and let me know that yes, they are also done.
So how did you, created the parameterized constructor?
Okay. You remember? I'll do Control Z over here. Let's see. Okay, because it has just created that one. Let me show you how I create. So one thing was that I would have gone over here and create by myself. I don't want to do that. Visual, like C plus this .NET will do it for myself. You see over here, if you see that this says that pizza does not contain a constructor that can take two arguments. I'm trying to call I'm trying to call a constructor that takes two arguments. You understand? So if I take my cursor over it, it says, okay, do what? Should I generate the constructor in pizza? I say yes, generate the constructor in pizza. So when I do that, if you go back to your pizza.cs, do you see the constructor being created over here?
Yes, sir. I mean, potentially fixes we did that.
Yeah, exactly. Excellent. Everyone is with me. So it means we have done something interesting. We have used our like .NET to create class and constructor for us. We are not doing it by ourselves. Got everyone? So we have just created that one. Now, so what will happen? See here, I will pass a pizza name and a total price to my object, and this will be set up as that pizza name and the total price of that one, right? And that what will happen that we will get the result, or for example, whatever we want, we can just do that. Now we have to catch one more thing. What we have to catch? We have to catch this one as well, like which radio button has been selected. Is that right? So for that, what we want to do, I want to define an integer variable, and I can call it control number, like control num. And I want to see which radio button has been selected. For that, I will create a function. And interestingly, of course, there is no function. So it will just ask me that this function does not exist. What I'm doing, this control number will receive input from these radio buttons, that which one was selected, right? So this and that will come inside this control number. So this control number will have which radio button has been selected. Now, since this method is not created, I have to create that method. Just don't worry and create this method. And don't worry about this throw new not implemented. So just right now we have created that so that this error is not coming. I'll come to this one and I'll tell you how to do that. But right now I've just created the radio button. Got everyone? Now I need to have the total price, because total price will also be dependent upon what has been selected from this radio button. You understand? The total price will be coming from what has been selected from this radio button. So now you see, I'll say my pizza dot get price, and not only get price, which control has been selected. Makes sense to everyone? Whatever user has selected, pass that to the get price function and bring out the price of that pizza. Is that right? Now I am using my pizza dot get price, and it is not there, of course. It says pizza does not contain a definition of get price. Okay, I know that it does not contain. I'm just imagining it, and you go and create that method for me. Now, where is this method created? Can anyone tell me? My pizza dot. So it should be created in what? Pizza class. You see, it's created over here, get price. I'll talk about that. I'll talk about this implementation. Don't worry about that. But right now, just to see that what we are doing, we are saying control num, check which radio button has been selected, and whatever has been selected, pass that value, this control num, pass that value to the, and to get the price. So again, which pizza has been selected? Is it California cheese or tandoori, whatever, and you just go and bring that price to it. Right? This one. And now the last thing that I want over here, customer name. Now, can anyone tell me how can I set up the customer name over here? I have a text box. You remember text customer name, and you remember content. Oh, no, not content. I always do this mistake. Text. Yes, Manag, thank you. I did that before as well. So text customer dot text, not content. It should be text over. Abhinav, it's basically, I am talking about the text box. Text box is this one, and you see its name. If you want to see its name in the properties, its name is text customer name. So I want this one from text customer name, right? Yeah, dot text. All right. So I hope everyone is with me till now. So now I just want to start printing something. Like I want to now print all the values, or I want to just display those values. Let's say start displaying the values. And again, we don't have those values, and we have to implement the function displaying the values, or starting to display the values. So now I have created an LBL order. You remember order, which was there, what was that one? It was this one, order. So I want to change this content of this one. I say LBL order dot content. I hope this is right now. Content equal to customer name. You remember customer name is what? Customer name is coming from text customer name dot text. And now I'm setting up this to the label. Change the contents of the label to the customer name. Right? And then what you do is that I want to set label amount dot content equal to, right? So label amount, is it label amount or label description? Label pizza description, and this one is the total amount. Okay, so description. I need to work on label description. So what I do is that not label amount, label pizza description. I hope I got it right. I'll check it once more time. Label pizza description, like description dot content is equal to my pizza dot get name. Again, this method is not there. So if it is not there, just go and create that for me. It will create that for me. Generate the method. Now, where this method is generated, again, it would be generated in the pizza.cs, of course, right? Get name, which is not implemented. We'll implement all these. Right now, we are just making this to work. Okay, and the last thing that I want to set, LBL amount dot content equal to. So amount dot content, I want to change that content to the price. And what is that? Total price I have. I have calculated that total price. How did I calculate the total price? By using this one, mypizza.getPrice, which has of course not implemented, but I will implement that by the way. Right. So you see here, I have done lots of things over here, and there are a few things that still require lots of things. Again, get radio button is not defined, or maybe it is being just described, but I have to just work in that one. Then get price is defined inside the class, which I have not worked on. It's not implemented. Then get name is also there, which I have not implemented, and I have to work on that one in the pizza.getcs and how to get the name of it. Right? Everyone is with me? So now let's start working on that. Okay. Okay. I was thinking that it might be becoming a bit more. Okay, just I'm stopping at this screen for some time. You see, Manpreet, that's a good point. See here, Manpreet, let me just go step by step, and by the time we try to cover that. String customer name, nothing. String pizza name, I'm setting up one tandoori pizza name. Like again, I'm just setting it up as default. Double total price equal to 10.99, but the price of tandoori pizza, whatever. Then I have created a class, like object of this pizza class. Class was not existing, I created a class, and then I called a constructor as well with two values. So it first created the class for me. Then it asked me and created the constructor for me. Then what I did is that I defined a control number just to know which pizza has been selected, and I called get radio button method. And since this method, I'm just not using my pizza.get button, radio button. So it's basically something that I want to define in this class. And when I created this one has come over here. Manpreet, you getting that? I'm just going a bit slow and just showing this code for some time. Customer name. Then I set up the customer name equal to text customer name.text. We know that there is a text box in which customer will be entering their name. I am just capturing the text of that customer and storing that customer name. Right? Now, displaying the values, if I want to display the values or change the contents of the values, label order. Label order was, here, label order. I want to change this with the name of the customer. So what I did, I said label order.content is equal to customer name. Just put the customer name over there. Label pizza description dot contain my pizza dot get name. So I will use a getter over there, get name, which was not created. And then I created it by using that auto helper from Visual Studio. Then we have label amount dot content, and I said total price. Whatever total price is coming of that control number and radio button, just use that. Manpreet, does that make sense now? Should I move forward a bit, or maybe just wait? Anyone else also? Okay, that's excellent. Anyone else? Are you people following it up? Others are not replying. Manpreet, looks like you are the only one following. Okay, Akriti, yes. Okay, that's excellent. Now you see, first of all, what we have to do, we have to define this get radio button, because I want to select which radio button has been selected. Right? Which radio button has been selected. So now, first of all, here I'm just defining an integer control variable equal to 0. I'll just put that value into it one, and then we'll check that. So now let's talk about that. If you see here, we have 3 pizza options. First label is tandoori pizza that we have by default selected. I'm not considering this right now. Why? Can anyone tell me why not considering? Because this is already been given. So if user, yes, it's a default one. Yes, thank you. This is the default one. So I'm not considering that one. Now, after that, we have 2 more, cheese pizza. And let's check the radio button name of this. Label, sorry, RB cheese. Now, how I will check that? See here. If RB cheese dot is checked equals true. Are you people getting that? If RB cheese dot is checked equals true, control equal to 1. I'm just setting up a value. Right? Don't worry about these squiggly lines yet. If RB, yes, what is the next one? We are not considering this tandoori one. And what is the last one? California. RB California. So I say RB. Why it is not giving that? RB California. Oh, it's not giving that, I'll have to just see it. Maybe I have renaming something or issues. Anyhow, we'll check that. RB California. Oh, you see what I've done wrong. I called this, instead of RB, I called it LBL. It's not a label, it's radio button. RB. right? So that's why it's not showing over there. Now here I have done the wrong spelling. Yes, so RB California. Just retype it again. So RB California. I can see that RB California now. Dot is checked equals true. I say control equal to 2. Right? So 0, I've just set up this control to 0, and now I have just set up if RB cheese is checked, I have set up it to 1, and if is checked, like California is selected, I've just done that one. And what I have to do in the end, return control. Why? Because this method will return an integer. So whether it will return 0, whether it will return 1, or whether it will return 2. Right? So now we are done with this get radio button. Very much. Now let's come to this pizza class and see what is going on over here. In the pizza class, we have 2 private members, the pizza name and the total price, which we are calculating from that one. And now what we'll be doing, we'll be just working on this pizza. And we have the first method is get price. I have to first of all get the price. And control num is being passed to it. What is that control num? The control num is that number that we are passing from this part, right? We are passing after selecting this control num from this control. Radio button is providing us that, right? You see here what I'm doing. So get price, I want to see the get price. So I say if control num equals 1. If control nums equals 1, you see what I want. I want to name pizza name equal to what was I have set up for the 1. Can anyone remember? Does anyone remember? For 1, it has to be cheese pizza, right? So set up its name to cheese pizza, for example. And set up the total price equal to, I think it's $11.99. We'll see that. Check that. Right. Oh, sorry. Should not be inverted commas, of course. $11.99. Right. So if it control num is equal to 1, so set up pizza name is equal to cheese pizza, total price is equal to $11.99. Right. And now come here. What was the other option? Control num equals to, do what? Just copy this one. Copy this one. Pizza name is equal to what we have called our second, the third pizza, California, right? So set up pizza name is equal to California. And the price is, I think, $12.99. We are not concerned. We'll see that if that happens. Now, I need to return something from here. I just need to return what? The price, because name will be returned from the get name. So from here, I'll return the price, nothing else. Whatever is the setup, because of that control num, return the total price from that. Now I will stop here. Get num, control num is coming from our, this class where we are just taking this control num from get radio button. Get radio button is providing either 0, 1, or 2, right? So we have given one application that if it comes 1, set up the class pizza name is equal to cheese pizza and total price is equal to $11.99. If the control num is coming up as 2, set up pizza name is equal to California, total price is equal to $12.99. And the end return total price. I'm not returning that price, the name of the pizza. Why? Because name of the pizza will be returned from the get name. Just come here, one line of code here. Return what? Pizza name here. Yes, Rashmi, thank you. Return pizza name. Now let me save this one. Let me save rest everything. Let's try to run that, and I can come back again. No worries. There will be some people wondering around that what has gone wrong, what has gone over there. I'll just come back and I'll show you what you need to do. First of all, let me check that whether it is working. So I come here and I say John is my name, and I want maybe cheese pizza, for example. Select process. Magic. So if I select tandoori pizza, for example, process order, I get tandoori pizza. Name of the customer is John. If I select California pizza, process order, I see California and 12.99. Okay, I know some people will be doing that. How many of you see this successfully, everything? I'll be happy that these people have successfully followed everything. So Ellen and cheese pizza, whatever, process pizza, it's coming over here. Yes, who is there? They will say that now I am done, and I can see this same running application as mine. Okay, I'll show you. Excellent Monarch and excellent Baldeep. That's excellent. Now, which one? You say get name. Get name is nothing, but get name has to be just only return pizza name, because pizza name is the class object, right? So just return the pizza name. Now, only two people have said, Baldeep and Monarch. Rest, everyone, please come up and let me know that you people are able to successfully run this like this one. So whatever you type over here, whatever you select from this radio button, and you're done, and you will see the message over there. Was that an interesting project, like overall? Because I will tell you that the interesting part is that we have done this object-oriented, very basic object-oriented techniques we have just implemented over here. You see, running a get price method, running up, for example, a get name method over here. Getters we are using one constructor over here. So the concept is quite interesting. It's just returning all those things. And what we have done in our main program, what we have done, that we have just implemented this all logic on the button click. So whenever the button is clicked, all this will be happening. Right? So what else you can do just for nothing? You show a message box over here and enjoy your pizza, and let's do customer name. Right? So just display a message to customer and enjoy your pizza. Right. So whenever order will be processed, you can do lots of things over here in this button. Click, and this is one of the things that you can do. So let's put it, for example, so Abhinav, right? Any name that comes in front, and I say cheese pizza. So you enjoy your pizza, Abhinav, and after that, because it's in between that, so after that it will just display all those things. So it's always good to place this one after that, because you need an action on that one. So it should now run after that one, right? So it should now see the right output. So Abhinav, you were asking for the pizza treat, so you should be thankful to us. Okay, so now you see. So again, Abhinav actually requested me to have the loins share. So that's why I have offered Abhinav this cheese pizza, right? You see here. So everything is being done. Your name and everything is appearing, and then this OK button. I hope everyone like rest. Abhinav, are you able to do that? Like, is your project also working same? Started to work same at least? Okay, no problem, no problem. It's like in working, it's fine. Like, is it working as it is supposed to work? Like this. If background image is not coming, that's not a big problem right now. Oh, that's excellent. It's running. That's excellent that it's running. Yes, I have not received any feedback from the others. I have just received feedback from Baldeep and Monarch. How about Rashmi? That's excellent. And others? Akriti, good to see that you are also done. Okay, okay. XML code for the button. No, it's not XML by the way, Manpreet. It's XAML code, right? Never say XML. It's XAML. XAML will mind it. You want to see the XAML code for button. Okay. You want process button, like process order? It's here. If you really want to see the, if you just hold on a minute. So this is here. Let me just change this one. Now you can see this in the one. So this is button order, process order, horizontal alignment, vertical alignment, all those things, and font size and things like that, and button order underscore click. Right, Manpreet? Okay, excellent. So yes, so there are few more people who have added. Rashmi has added that. Akriti has added that they are done, but still I'm not able to hear from most of you. Akriti. Okay, I'll check that. I'll check that. Right, so Akriti, this is your phone. Okay, for me, it's not loading the same screen after clicking over the button. Same screen means when you click on it, you go somewhere else. Okay, let me stop recording for a